next September and day.
All right, first fight in 4 years. What did you think? Because last time we saw you
fight.
in the
September 14, Uzbek Power coming. See you soon, inshallah.
Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to do a fight recap for Naoya Inoue versus Roman Cardenas. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time right now. Subscribe to the channel. It literally takes one click. Also, while you're doing that, could you please hit the thumbs up button because it shows love, it helps, and it supports this channel. And for all of you who've been circulating the videos, thank you. I appreciate it. And please continue to do so. What a fight. It was dramatic. Inoue doesn't disappoint. He did what we all thought he was going to do. Anyway, I said he was going to do it. But I also said that Cardenas packs a punch, and that's exactly what happened. He packs a punch. But so let me just say, because I don't necessarily want to go all the way over this fight, but what I will say is this. There are levels. There are levels, and the greats can go to the next level when they need it. The greats, Sugar Ray Leonard, Ali, who can pick himself up from a devastating hook from Joe Frazier, can pick himself up. Floyd Mayweather, who can adapt. Inoue can adapt. He can get hit. He can stay composed. He literally said, you know, I took a moment. Yeah, it hurt. It put me down. But you know what he said? I made sure not to get hit with that punch again. Only the greats can do that. I'm going to nullify that. That won't happen again. That's the thing that hurt me. That's the thing that put me down. And that will not be happening again in this fight. I can promise you that. I'll be on the lookout for that. Only the greats can do that, and only the greats can keep that promise to themselves. It's at the point where we have to start looking at, in a way, the same way we look at Canelo. You know, the same way we... The only reason why I never mentioned Usyk is because he's the heavyweight champion. There's nothing higher than the heavyweight champion of the world. Nothing. I don't care what anybody says. He's always going to be the king until somebody dethrones him. He's the king in my eyes because he's the heavyweight champ. Everybody else are little people compared to him. Everybody else is a hobbit. Inoue's a hobbit compared to Usyk. But outside of Usyk, we're going to have to start looking at Inoue the same way we look at Canelo. We're going to have to look at Inoue the same way we look at Bud Crawford. And if I'm being fair and I'm being totally honest, there's only really one name that's on Terence Crawford's belt that holds any real significance or weight. And that's Errol Spence, let's be honest. So Inoue's higher on my scale than Terence Crawford. He is, because nobody can name any of the people that he beat at 140. The only notable names that he beat at 47 were Errol Spence and Sean Porter, and Sean Porter said he was already out the game. Mentally, he was out the game. So I gotta be honest when I say these things, but Inoue is an all-time great. He is a treasure, and he it's not just that he wins, it's that he fights as if he has nothing. He fights like he's trying to make a mark in the sport of boxing. He fights as if, you know, like nobody knows his name. Like he literally fights like he's getting the low end of the purse. He fights as if his name is not in the signage, the marketing. No, that's the way he fights. And that's the reason why we have to admire what we see when he's in the ring, because he's doing some truly amazing things. Now, like I said, let me go back to the beginning of the video when I said, you know, a teeny bit of a fight recap. Roman Cardenas had nothing for him. Like I said, the greats can adapt. Inoue adapted. But not only did he adapt, he picked up the pace. Not only did he pick up the pace, I felt like Roman Cardenas just didn't know what to throw. I felt like it was too much coming back at him. It was too much firepower. Like they all hurt, but they're coming from different angles. They're coming in bunches. And most people just succumb to that. And I said, if you're gonna fight anyway, you gotta have a little bit of crazy. You gotta be really busy. You gotta be a really durable guy, and you have to accept the fact I'm going to get hit often, a lot. And if you're not comfortable with that, if you have not settled that in yourself, it's gonna be a long fight. It's gonna be a very, 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 very long fight. Once Inoue got up, he went Super Saiyan, and he did what he does best, and he went Hulk smash, and that's exactly what he did. And because again, yes, it's physical, but it's also mental. He has that thing inside of him that says, "Not me, not today." You know, like, I'm not the one. Like, we can box, but when you put me down, you're going to see the greatest version of me ever. Period. You're going to see the greatest version of me ever. And after the fight, we hear that, you know, MJ's next. And I'm like, okay. This is the reason why I say, like, you know, you have to put Inoue above Canelo, because Canelo's not fighting who we want to see Canelo fight. I like Bud Crawford, but the reality is he's a much smaller guy. And it wasn't like he had the performance of the night when he fought Madrimov. So if he had a tough fight with a guy at 154, what do you think 168 is going to be? It's not going to be a walk in the park. And it's not going to be a walk in the park considering who he's facing. We all know that Terence Crawford will not knock out Canelo Alvarez. Nobody's going to knock him out. So that's not going to happen. You might be able to frustrate him, but you're not going to knock him out. And Terence Crawford is also not a volume puncher, so he's not going to knock him out. So, but when you look at Inoue, it's just like what he's doing, but it's not just what he's doing, it's how he's beating these guys. He's demolishing these guys. He's tearing these guys to shreds. That's what he's doing. When he's done with these guys, they look like they've been attacked by a pack of wolves. That's what's happened. Now, when you look at MJ, I think this is the best opponent possible for Inoue. I think Inoue has all the attributes to give him a tough fight. And if Roman Cardenas can put Inoue down, I think MJ can definitely put Naoya Inoue down. But the question is, what's going to happen when he gets back up to his feet? Because we all know he's going to get back up to his feet. That's the thing. Putting him down, okay, it's happened a few times. Keeping him down is a whole nother story, you know. So it's like you need to be prepared for the after effect if you're going to fight Inoue. And you're going to be successful early, especially early. I think you need to put your eggs in a basket for later. And I also think you do need to be more concerned with the after effect. Because if you put him down, he's not coming up with the same game plan. So you have to be ready for that. And I think you have to come in with a mindset of maybe having 2-3 game plans. You know, like I remember Conor McGregor when he fought Floyd Mayweather. He said I was not prepared for how reserved and calm he was, and I was not prepared for how many times he could change game plans in a fight. He said I'd never seen anything like that. And I think that's the same outlook you need to have when you're facing Inoue. Would be, I have to be composed, as Conor said. You got to be composed if you're going to fight this guy. And you have to deal with his composure. He's not breathing hard. He doesn't look concerned. You know, now I don't know what's going on in the inside. Internally, he might be shaking in his boots, but on the outside, he doesn't seem concerned. And then you have to be ready for the game change. This is what he's been doing thus far. But once you did this, he switched over. Now he's doing this. Once you did this, now he's more defensive. Once you do this, now he's throwing more body shots. You got to be prepared for the game change. And what could possibly be the game change? And can you adapt and change with the game change? That's why I think MJ is the best opponent to take on Inoue, because he's got a lot of experience fighting, a lot of amateur fights. He's a durable guy. If he has to, he can take a beating. He's game. I think he's mentally strong. You know, he's one of those guys where, you know, like, bring it on. You know, he's one of those. And Uzbek power, we're going to find out if it's real. Because Japanese power, we do know it's real. So we're going to find out what happens when Uzbek power meets Japanese power. And those are my thoughts. I want you to drop your thoughts down below. What do you feel about MJ and Inoue mixing it up? And what do you think would be the outcome? I know it's easy to say nobody can beat Naoya Inoue at this point. I get it. You know, I understand that. But if you can get put down, you are human. You are human. And it shows that you're human. And I don't think it's much about putting him down. I think it's what happens when he gets back up. Drop your thoughts down below.